Good morning, everyone. Morgan Hibbs here with Linn County Farm Bureau. Thank you for tuning in for another virtual Ag in the Classroom lesson. This month, we are going to do a fun activity called Right This Very Minute. We have a read aloud video for you to watch, and the story is called Right This Very Minute. If you have not read that story, you can go ahead and pause this video, go listen to the story, and come back and resume play. In the story, we read about farmers all over the United States and what they are doing to produce our food right this very minute. We have some activities for us to do today to learn about the types of food that come from agriculture. But when you were listening to the story, what did they have for breakfast? How about lunch? Did you enjoy some of those things for dinner last night? And how about the snacks? The snacks are probably my favorite part. All of the foods that we read about came from agriculture. They don't all grow here in Iowa, but they do grow across the United States, and the farmers are busy right now plowing fields, harvesting. We are working on getting the apples out of the trees and starting to think about cover crops for next year's nourishing the soil. Farmers are looking at technology and data and planning for next year's crop. In different times of the day, farmers are doing different things. So today's activity, we are going to first do a fun activity with this clock. This is our ag clock. We are going to be using this clock to look at what farmers are doing right this very minute and growing the different crops that we enjoy. You have some pictures to cut out of different foods. We also have a big hand and a little hand and a bracket. I'm going to flip the camera around and show you how to go through this activity. The first thing you're going to want to do is cut out the small pictures of the different fruits and vegetables and animals. Also cut out the large and the small hand and hole punch the center of your hands. You also have a bracket. The bracket is going to be used to put the hands in the middle of our clock. We will do that first. So first you're going to take the large hand and the small hand and line up the hole punches. Then you're going to take the bracket with the pointy side through the holes, just like this. Next, you're going to place the pointy side through the hole of the clock. Hold the middle, flip it upside down, lay it back flat on your desk. Then you're going to just pry the two prongs apart so that they lay flat. Then, when you flip it back over, the hands will move. So if a teacher does ask you to tell the time on here, you can say at 1:30, maybe the farmer is growing lettuce. So we can move the hands. But for this activity, we're looking more at some of the different products that come from plants and animals. So we have different pictures here. Now there are more pictures than what will be placed around the clock, so you can choose your favorites. So I have a glue stick, and it doesn't take much glue, just a little bit. But you're going to place the pictures closest to the clock because that is what farmers are growing and raising right this very minute all across the United States. So I really like peanuts, so I'm going to place my peanuts right here next to the 7. Then I'm going to place my dairy cow by the 8. So you're going to place the pictures around the clock, closest to the clock. We learn about cranberries in December, so maybe you remember a little bit about the cranberry marsh. I'm going to just keep placing these pictures until I get them all the way around. And you might not have time to do this right now while we are going through this activity, but you will have time once we conclude the video. Okay, so see how I have a few pictures left? You can just toss those in the recycling bin. So these are the plants and animals that come directly from the farm. These are the different things that farmers are growing and raising right this very minute. But there are different foods that we can make from these plants and animals. So let's go through and just talk about a couple as an example, and then you can work on this activity on your own. So for example, from peanuts, I really like peanut butter. Do your best with spelling. If you would like to draw a picture of peanut butter instead of write it, you can do that as well. Or maybe your teacher has some instructions he or she would like you to follow. But I'm going to write peanut butter here. Or maybe you do this as a class and you write the same words next to the picture. So next to the dairy cow, we have milk. And if you can think of two, that is fantastic. So another one that we could do for dairy is cheese. So these are different foods that can come from these plants and animals. So let's do from eggs. From eggs, we could do scrambled. Also, raise your hand if you knew that cookies have eggs in them usually. So we could write cookies. Okay, from last month's lesson, let's do cranberries. So from cranberries, we could have cranberry juice, maybe cranberry sauce. So you are going to go around the clock and try to fill in these 2 boxes next to the pictures you glued down with different foods or products that come from those plants and animals closest to the clock that were raised and grown on the farm. Now that you have finished the clock, we have a map here that shows the different plants and animals and where they are raised and grown. So we can raise lots of things in here in Iowa, but we can't raise everything. For example, we don't grow peanuts here in Iowa, but they do grow peanuts in Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, and things like that. So you can take a look at this map and look to see where some of the different plants and animals are raised and grown, and then start to think about why they might be raised there. So we have cold winters here in Iowa, which is why we can't grow orange trees. We also don't have a lot of forest like they do up here in Maine and Vermont, where they produce maple syrup. So there are different reasons why we grow and raise different plants and animals across the United States. Okay, now look at your clock and the pictures you have around your clock. Those pictures right closest to the clock are the plants and animals that came directly from the farm. Then from those pictures, you thought of different foods that we can make with those plants and animals. So now we have a stack of cards. The teacher has one set of these, or you can find this on our website. I would like you to pass these out to the students. So we have things like bread, carrots, yogurt, and I want you to look at your pictures. Do you think the picture came directly from the farm, or do you think it's made from that plant or animal and it would be in the second or third box on our clock? So for example, did bread come directly from the farm? No, we had to process this. So this is a new word. It's processed. Can you say the word processed? Processed. Bread is a processed product, meaning it had to go through multiple steps before we were able to slice it up and serve it as a sandwich. But carrots are not processed. Carrots can come directly from the ground and be cleaned and sliced up to eat. Yogurt is a milk product, but it doesn't come directly from the cow as yogurt. We have to process this. We have a salad here. Now, the ingredients on the salad, can you find those from the garden and eat them right away? You can. We can wash them and eat them, cut them up and put them on a salad. So things like cucumbers, peppers, lettuce, all of those things are not processed. They are fresh. So if you would like to pass the picture out to each of the students, and then you can have the students stand up and go to one side of the room for processed, if the picture is a processed product, and the other side of the room if it's not processed, if it's fresh. If you would like to avoid standing up and doing this activity, walking around due to trying to social distance, you could also pass these out and then ask the students to raise their picture if they believe they have a processed product, and you can ask then the friends to raise their hand if they have a fresh product or a not processed product. Another idea is you could also hold up the pictures under the document camera and have the students raise their hand, taking turns saying processed or not processed. So just a few options for you if you are looking to social distance. And lastly, we have a actual clock review sheet. I know that you will be learning about clocks and times in 2nd grade. And so here is a fun worksheet that is a nice review for telling time. You can also practice telling time with our ag clock. If you would like to say, if you did this as a class, you could say, please turn to the small hand to dairy and the long hand to wheat, and then ask the students to tell you what time it is. So a couple options to practice telling time as well. Hopefully you enjoyed this lesson, and if you take pictures of the activities and you would love to send them to us, I would enjoy seeing how you used our resources, and I can't wait to visit you virtually next month. Have a wonderful rest of your day.